So it's resource intensive, but it enables you to get to much crisper understanding of what the outcomes is.
Marketers currently rely on third-party cookies also to understand how users are responding to ads. Did they click? Did they visit a site later? Did they buy something online or fill out a form?
Measurement and attribution seems to have always been the category that we as advertisers think of after we think of targeting. To me, it's inseparable from the targeting, because no matter how good your targeting is, if you can't actually measure and ascribe success to it, it doesn't really necessarily matter. I think measurement in general has been going through its own revamp, largely because of shifting user behavior, folks migrating away from traditional linear television and similar spaces where a lot of measurement innovation had been happening, migrating to more digitally originating measurable channels, but then running into issues of not having a cohesive standard of measurement across individual digital channels. And so we're in that kind of very piecemeal place now.
An advertiser's measurement toolbox is going to include a combination of tools and techniques, providing both micro and macro measurement. And luckily, many of them are already in place and we're using today.
I think it's only going to fragment more. So there's going to be solution providers that do different parts of measurement. There'll be methodologies and ways that, for example, brand and attitudinal type measurement vendors have to come up with solutions to be able to operate in this world. And then there'll be ones for the lower funnel, the conversion end of the spectrum.
Think about our measurement approach through sort of three buckets. One is we have fundamentally scaled up our in-house approach to marketing mix. This is something we call ROI engine. It's a scale solution that we have across our top 25 markets. Think about this as classic marketing mix on steroids, like where you can go super deep. It enables you to create some small test and learn experiments. I'm an ex-engineer turned analytics professional turned market mix modeler at some point. And it's funny, like the notion of market mix modeling is back in vogue. In some sense, it's a solution that truly respects privacy, operating with good data that can be shared.
More macro probabilistic techniques such as multi-market testing and multi-mix modeling, they're going to continue to provide advertisers with a really important view into how effective their marketing is. They're staple parts of the toolbox that we've been using for many years. The good news again, though, is advancements in AI shaking up the area of the industry for us, because what it means is we're able to automate a lot of the modeling work that we would have done in the past, which means these types of techniques are beginning to provide a much quicker, more frequent, and much more granular measure of marketing impact at a fraction of the cost, which means we're going to be able to deploy them more broadly.
I think your plan should probably include developing some form of media mix models, and you should be seeking to establish what your most certain probabilistic formulas are to drive outcomes.
That sophisticated end of the scale, things like clean room that enable data collaboration between brands and publishers, or brands and the walled gardens even.
The notion of data sharing clean rooms is an opportunity area, especially when it comes to how we think about measurements in the future. Is there a way in which we can develop measurement solutions by sharing data in a privacy compliant fashion? That's something that we have started piloting across a few of our markets. It's starting with something basic. If not for outcomes, can I actually better measure where my media is going? Is it reaching the right type of audience? We hope with the right set of linkages, we can get to outcome-based measurement.
You should probably be exploring clean rooms and data matching solutions that provide you with the ability to validate that you're reaching the right people over time. Because many of the current attribution solutions or measurement solutions are cookie dependent, you should also be investing time and effort into understanding attribution corollaries like attention, or things like private click networks or SCAD networks.
There's no doubt the area that's going to have the most disruption when it comes to measurement is how we provide media platforms with a measure of performance that they can then use to inform bidding and optimization. And we've already been working with many of our clients in recent years to connect their first-party data into media platforms by uploading offline business outcomes intermediate platforms using server-to-server integrations. And we've also been leveraging clean rooms to be able to provide media partners with visibility of the conversions, the offline conversions, that their activity could have driven.
Especially opportunities with retail media has scaled up, that has enabled us to test and learn.
I think firstly, site analytics platforms will continue to be the most reliable source of truth when it comes to digital conversions, given that they rely on first-party cookies rather than third-party cookies. And the good thing actually there is advancements in AI mean that they're going to become even better. AI is allowing advertisers to model for the users that have perhaps not consented first-party tracking through site analytics, providing us with a more holistic picture. More recently, the emergence of the attribution reporting API within Google's Privacy Sandbox does provide another important tool going forward. The attribution reporting API will allow an ad tech provider to record when a consumer that's browsing the internet has clicked or viewed their ad, but that record is within the consumer's browser only. Secondly, the reporting attribution API will store when subsequently that user converts on a site within the browser again.
Privacy sandboxes do play a big role in our strategy. I would be the first one to sort of say it's a muscle that we are developing. It's not a fully honed muscle that we have.
Online conversion and high value actions online end of the spectrum already is dominated largely by Google. They own the entire ecosystem from end to end, both from the media execution all the way down to the actual measuring of conversions. So I don't expect that that'll be disturbed all that much.
For marketers right now, it's very difficult to understand which channel and which partner is going to work really well for them. So let's say I want to invest more in CTV. Okay, great. But which flavor of CTV is going to resonate with the folks that are my audience? How do I structure my buy so that it's effective? How do I structure it so that I'm not oversaturating a particular audience and similar challenges? And so I have really good measurement in a specific channel with a specific partner, but if I want to work with multiple partners, that's when it gets a little dicey and hairy. You first have to have all of that very boring legwork, the data strategy, the understanding what success means for you in each individual channel, looking at who you're working with, understanding how you would evaluate different partners, and then trying to define what a controlled test would look like from that point on.
A marketing exec approach gives me a lot of scale, a lot less cost, but is somewhat limited in terms of granularity you can get to. All the way down to the clean room side of things, that requires more investments, more engineering resources, more data sciences resources. So it's resource intensive, but it enables you to get to much crisper understanding of what the outcomes is. And the balancing act in this, Jessica, ultimately is going to be, we don't think about measurement as like one solution, but measurement as a convergence of multiple solutions. And so we might leverage marketing mix approach for broad-based measurement, and we would leverage a clean room approach for very sort of focused, specific campaign type of assessment.
Clean rooms, that as well has its downfalls, slowness and cost and limitations. You have to have a pretty good sized data set to play in the clean room space. And so actually, I think markets like the US might see more benefits from that because they just have more scale than some of the smaller countries.
The unfortunate thing of what's going to happen is the winner is going to be the default. The winner is going to just be like, okay, well, we're already spending all of our money in this ecosystem anyway, so let's just go with their solution, even if it's not necessarily the best, or even if it's not necessarily in the long-term best interest of the brand, whether you end up going with Google's future way of viewing the model or you end up going with the trade desks, for example. I think for a lot of brands, it's just going to default back to who they're currently investing with today. On the outcomes end of the independent measurement providers, I would predict that there's going to be a lot of consolidation. I would say over the next couple of years, there's probably going to be a lot more acquisitions or companies coming together, because I don't think any individual one of them is really going to solve all of this, or at least solve a big enough piece to be able to be a financially viable solution in their own right.